Hey guys, welcome back to the workshop here at Brick System Brothers. This is Nathan hosting today, and I wanted to do a video for my window and doors and that kind of thing because I am going to try to get them sorted into a better framework than what I currently have for a couple of reasons. Number one, the current framework is pretty much at its maximum right now, so this cannot really take too many new pieces. And it's been this way for a little while, but I keep getting in, oh dear, I keep getting in windows and doors pieces, and I don't have anywhere to put them because this is full. So number one is it's overflowing and there's new stuff coming in, so it needs to be reworked. Number two is this type of bin. It's a good sorting bin, don't get me wrong, but ever since I got started with the Akro-Mils drawer system, that's kind of been the standard that I'm trying to work up to with most of my sorting projects. So it isn't, universal across the board. This is going to be the best thing for every piece type, especially with the larger ones. But in general, the Akro-Mils drawer system is what I like to use. So I do have one more that I've been waiting to fill that I think I do want to use for windows and doors, and we're going to see if I can get everything in. Just overview here, there are several different types that I want to sort out, but the main two groupings are going to be the frames themselves and the inserts. So every frame in general kind of pairs with an insert piece, and you look at these different sizes, and they all kind of they're somewhat standardized. It doesn't work across the board for everything. As you go older to newer, there's been some updates along the road, but there's kind of three main sizes as well. So for both types of frames and inserts, we're looking at the door size, which is larger, which I'm probably not going to be doing as many of the largest frames and doors in here, just because larger pieces take up more room, and so I'm not going to get as many per drawer. So large door size, and then you get to kind of a 1x4x3 standard size, so a medium window, and then 1x2x2 window size would be a smaller window standard. So you're looking at those three main sizes. There's some outliers like our garage door pieces. Some of the doors are a little different, and then there's really weird outliers like 1x3x5, but in general, those are kind of three main groups that I want to distinguish. Within each group, you can go even further down and look at things that are two studs deep or one stud deep, and then within that one stud, those different kinds as well. Looking at the smaller ones, there's actually three variations of 1x2x2 frame that have a larger like a bevel style frame. So you've got your regular square rectangular frame, and that is kind of the updated version of the classic one. And then there's three kinds different here. Got kind of an arched one, and then these are actually visually the same, but they have slightly different attachment. So this one's got the two lower holes, this one has the one. And so just another one of those updates that has rolled out over the years. That I'd probably do something similar to my how I separate the panels. So a very similar part type here. It's just solid. For a while I had a half divider. I've got enough of these now to have their own drawer. Let's see if I can find something that has a half divider to represent what I'm going to be doing here. Right here. So yeah, I've got this half divider. I can do the old style on one side, the new style on the other. Now, the last question that I don't have an answer for yet, is where I'm going to put this once it is all sorted out, because I've kind of filled up that section of the basement wall down here. I could go lower, but I don't really want to do that. Everything's up at standing height right now. I could try to break into this shelf section, but I'd have to be doing a little bit of demo if I go there. So I don't know where I'm going to put this yet, but in any case it will be beneficial to have a start on getting things sorted. And one other note is I've started the top row with something completely different. fenders and stuff. If it turns out that I only need these bottom 5 rows for the windows and frames, I'm probably going to leave that. I have a hunch that I'm going to want to use all 6 rows of drawers for this part type, and in that case the fenders are going to have to move, but we're just going to leave them there for now and see what I can come up with. Okay, so we're going to have kind of an open-ended video here today. Most of the stuff that I wanted to get laid out is done, but none of it is all the way sorted out except for some of the bottom row. And so we'll look at the layout here, how I've got it set up in a grid, but at the same time there's still quite a bit that isn't really sorted, and I'm not entirely convinced this is going to be the final layout for the system either. It's right now, the way that it is miles better than it has been, just because I've been able to consolidate a lot of different pieces and also get it out of the stack system, because whenever I want something on the bottom of that container, I have to put, you know, the stack in it. You have to take it out and you have to find a place to set it. So getting it into the drawer is really good, and I'll be able to access things, and also a lot of the pieces that were loose and mixed up are at least sorted out now. So this is all the same kind of old style window, and before it was just kind of a mixed up mess. So what I did not get really sorted out at all is the smaller inserts. So things like the 1x4x3 inserts and smaller are not sorted. Inserts for door sizes turned out to go on the bottom row here, and some of that kind of thing. Okay, let's just work our way through some of these drawers. I'm actually going to go bottom to top because that's the way I worked when I was sorting it. So bottom left drawer starts with some curved top doors. On the left side we've got the clip attachment style. On the right side we have the old kind of tongue attachment style, and these are all the same in terms of attachment. So this isn't necessarily the same size as an arch door, but it does have that same attachment point. So that's kind of what's over here. And there's a couple other ones that also go in that mix. So starting with larger doors that have kind of a different attachment style. Next one towards the right is, this one goes in a frame. This one has that same attachment style, but it's larger, and then some of the bar fences. So very similar part style and look right next to each other here. Moving towards the right, still on the bottom row, are the 6 tall door inserts. So on the left are the solid style, on the right are the 4-pane window style and a single 3-pane. I just only have that one, so I'm going to put it in there for now. And I like the way that this kind of flows naturally into the 5 tall doors, because these also have that 4-pane style. So we've got the 4-pane here, matches up with this one. The difference being these are 5 tall, so 1 stud shorter, and I also would refer to these as self-contained doors because they already have a stud attachment on the top and bottom. And so that's what's unifying everything in this drawer, is they have that attachment, so they're kind of ready-made. These actually need to pair with one of the larger frames. That's a 5 tall frame. They need to pair with a 6 tall frame before you can put it in a build, if you're kind of building standard. So that's bottom row, kind of focused on doors and taller items. Next row up on the left is garage door. I think these are called lamellas, so depending on where you're from maybe, but I've heard them called lamellas before. They have these 2 little pins and they fit in the track system for the garage door. And then on the right are some of the boxcar doors, the recent Bricklink parts. So the garage door is kind of full. Moving on, we have jail bars, so kind of the bar, and these match up with the insert size for the other ones, but this is kind of residential door style, and these are more industrial. Now we get to window inserts. So these are just plain transparent glass. This is for 6 tall, this is for 5 tall, and just inserts in there. On the left side, I've got a few spacers to help hold these all up, otherwise they'd be a mess, so I'm kind of holding those in place. And then on the right side, second row, is more door inserts, but these are solid. And this is the only one of these bottom 8 that has all the same unique piece type. So these are all solid 5 tall door inserts. These pair up with this frame, 2x4x5. So a couple different colors there. And that is most of the taller door and window items. The next rows up, we get to the shorter 4 tall windows. So starting on the left is 2x4x3. And there's 2 different kinds of frames in here. This one has that little slope, that little angle, but still very similar. So the kind of the larger ones. Recently I cleared out the white frames for Cafe Corner. Next to that is what I call the 1x4x3 train window, and it has this bevel on the frame. So this was the original part used in Market Street that I swapped out for the current style, but it turns out I do have plenty of these to do the original Market Street if I wanted to. I think the other reason I changed them was because the window panes didn't go flush if you use this style of window. This is the first one that I got to that actually has quite a bit of overflow. So there's a bunch of purple and white train window frames that do not fit in the drawer. I'm going to leave them out for now because I've been thinking I want to build a passenger car mock for the My Own Train, and this would be the window style I use. So if I do get to that, I'll be clearing out probably the white ones from this drawer. That should open up enough space to fill in the rest of the train windows. Further right is the shutter tab window. This is the style that I needed for Carter Trellis, and I went a little overboard getting extra ones. It turns out I had enough white ones of these. The other colors I have are blue, yellow, and red, and there's like one, maybe there's not. I thought I had one other color in here. But yeah, plenty more white shutter tab window frames. And these pair with these large shutters on the tabs, and then they also have inner receiving holes for other types of window frames. To the right of that is our current 1x4x3 window frame style. This does not have any shutter tabs, but it pairs with a few different current types of window frames. There is actually backwards compatibility to a few of these styles and forwards compatibility when you're looking at different pieces that are retired but still work. So if Lego puts out a set with this size window, this is the part they're using right now. So this is the 3 wide windows row, and more or less got most of those in. 3 tall windows row. And I think that covers all the types that I had that I wanted to get sorted out. So the next one up actually starts with the miscellaneous and the outliers. This borders on what I would consider a windshield, and I would want to put that in a different category, but I'm sticking it in here for now. The biggest pieces in here are the kind of the paired ones. This is going back to Classic Space, I think. But the profile matches some of the other outliers that have that slope on there. So I have few enough of each type to just kind of mix these all together in their own miscellaneous drawer, and that's what I've started the 4th row with. To the right of that is slightly more on topic, but still somewhat mixed. And the reason I have so few of these arches in here right now is because there's a lot more coming in recent pab crawl haul. So haven't got to this cup yet in the pab crawl series, but most of these will be going into this drawer when I get there. So that's kind of ready and waiting. Now we get to a little bit more standard in terms of 1x2x3 size. So kind of the natural progression up from a 1x4x3 would be cutting that in half to that smaller size. This bin is another type of train window, but it's narrower. I have a lot of green ones because I haven't rebuilt my own train passenger car. So that's still on the docket to join the locomotive and the hopper cars that I have built. And next to that is the combination drawer for your standard frame and the arches, or the arched 1x2x3. So very similar piece here. This kind of pairs up with the standard wide window frame. So this one is current, and the arch is just the same piece with a rounded top. So that progression moves on up. The next intuitive step would be to a shorter window. So that's what I've got. We're going to start with the 1x4x2, and these have 2 open spots on the back for the smaller pane type. So 1x4 to start. You cut that in half vertically and you get 1x2x2 with the rounded bevel frame. So these are the ones that I am going to distinguish the 2 pins on the bottom and the 1 pin on the bottom. And I've got something set out here. Let's just look at that now. The double pin frame pairs with an old glass insert that looks like this, and it actually has a recessed piece that goes in to the beveled window. So it's a very self-contained part. It's very specific to this frame. And also the old version of the 2x4 window frame. So you can put this in the 1x2 or the 1x4, but only works with kind of this style of window pin. The current style has a single pin on the bottom, and it actually pairs with your standard glass insert. And this has been the current production for a while now, and it has a compatibility with quite a bit of the window range. The new piece that recently came out also uses this, the 3x3. I made a video on it a while back. So that's kind of where the distinction lies with this specific type of piece, and I do have that separated for this system of sorting. To the right of those is yet another type of beveled window frame. Again, we're using the standard glass insert with that single hole on the bottom, but the reveal more has this arch, so it matches up more with the tall arch on a smaller window frame size. I actually have a lot more of these than I thought I did. They just kind of appear here and there in different sets. I think Harry Potter's been using them, but I didn't think I had quite this many, and they ended up getting their own drawer. And to the right of that is the standard rectangular frame that pairs up with the taller 1x2x3 version. Cut off one stud, one row, and you get the 1x2x2 frame. So that's what I've got sorted. I have left the vehicle fenders in the top row, but I think I want to make that into the old style frames. I don't know how I'm going to break that down yet. Another thing I've been thinking as I sort through these is how many of these have a divider, and that may be an indicator that I need to think about using a different style of Akro-Mils. So the one that I would maybe switch to, if it worked out, would be the bottom half is the standard larger drawers. The top half is actually the smaller drawers like I'm using for my pab overflow. So it would be like half and half, small drawers and large drawers, especially if I get to putting in or wanting to sort out these other inserts. So all these other glass inserts do not have a home in this current system, but if I switched to the half and half Akro-Mils unit, I think I'd be able to break it down to where each individual type of insert or shutter could have their own bin. What that will do is probably bump the old style frames and the entire bottom 2 rows out into a different place, and this would be all smaller style windows. And I'm not completely sold on doing that yet. For now, I'm going to leave it like this. Like I said, way better than having everything mixed up like it was before. I can kind of tell at a glance now different colors that I have. So, you know, just see the one blue frame in here. Instead of looking through 5 different bins, I can just look in a single drawer. So that's a lot better, but not everything here sorted out. Still some work to do, but a good start on the window consolidation. Been wanting to do this for a while, and now have a bin. Still don't know where I'm going to put it, but something better than nothing. So that's what I got today, guys. Thanks for watching. Brick System Brothers. We'll see you next time.